I, 32M, have been married to Maria, 29F, for 3 years now. We have a son, Troy, who is turning 1 next week. I guess I should start from the beginning to help you understand the whole situation better. I met Maria 5 years ago when I was working as a barista at a local coffee shop while finishing my accounting degree. She would come in every morning before heading to her office, always ordering the same thing, a large vanilla latte with an extra shot. I was immediately drawn to her confidence and the way she carried herself. At that time, I had no idea she came from such a wealthy background. She was just this beautiful, smart woman who would sometimes stay to chat with me during my breaks. After 3 months of our daily interactions, I finally gathered the courage to ask her out. To my surprise, she said yes. It was only when she gave me her address for our first date that I realized she lived in the most expensive part of town. Her parents own one of the biggest real estate companies in our state, and she works as a senior executive at a Fortune 500 company. I, on the other hand, come from a very humble background. My mom Linda, 56F, raised me alone after my dad passed away from a heart attack when I was 12. She never got to finish high school because she had to drop out to help her family when her parents got sick. But she worked herself to the bone to make sure I got a good education. She worked as a waitress during the day and cleaned offices at night. There were days when she would come home at 2 a.m., exhausted, but she would still wake up at 6 to make me breakfast before school. Things were great between Maria and me while we were dating. She seemed to understand my background and even said she admired how hard my mom worked. The problem started after we got married. The first incident happened during our wedding reception. My mom tried to give a speech, but her English isn't perfect as it's not her first language. I could see Maria and her parents cringing throughout the speech, and later that night, Maria told me she wished my mom hadn't spoken at all as it was embarrassing in front of their high society friends. After that, things just got worse. Whenever my mom would visit us, Maria would either leave the house or stay in our bedroom. During family gatherings at her parents' house, they would deliberately speak about things my mom couldn't relate to, like their vacation homes in Europe or their country club memberships. Once, when my mom tried to join the conversation by talking about a local park she likes visiting, Maria's mom actually rolled her eyes and changed the subject. When Troy was born last year, they tried to minimize my mom's involvement as much as possible. Maria wouldn't let my mom hold him for the first 2 months, claiming she was worried about germs because my mom takes the bus to work. When my mom would bring handmade blankets or clothes for Troy, Maria would throw them away as soon as my mom left, saying they weren't good enough quality for our son. Now Troy's first birthday is next week, and Maria has planned this extravagant celebration at the most expensive country club in town. She's invited around 100 people, including her company's CEO, several executives, and all their wealthy relatives. She's hired an event planner, ordered a custom-made cake from a famous bakery, and even arranged for a professional photographer and videographer. When I told her I wanted to invite my mom, she flat out refused. She said having my mom there would be embarrassing as she doesn't know proper etiquette and might make them look bad in front of their important guests. She said my mom wouldn't know how to behave at such a high-class venue and would probably embarrass them by trying to talk to her boss or other executives. Her parents called me yesterday and tried to convince me that it would be better if my mom didn't come. They suggested we could have a separate small celebration with my mom the next day at our house. But I refused because I know how much this would hurt my mom. She's been so excited about Troy's first birthday and has been saving up from her waitressing job to buy him a special gift. She even told me she's been practicing some English phrases so she can wish him properly. I've had enough of this classist behavior. My mom sacrificed everything for me, her youth, her dreams, her health, just so I could have a better life. She worked 2 jobs for 15 years straight, never took a vacation, never bought anything nice for herself, also I could go to college and have opportunities she never had. And now these people want to exclude her from her only grandson's first birthday just because she isn't rich or well educated? I've decided to invite my mom to the party anyway. I already told her about it, and she was so happy she cried. She's even bought a new dress for the occasion, the first new piece of clothing she's bought for herself in years. Maria has been giving me the silent treatment since yesterday, and her parents keep calling to tell me I'm being unreasonable and that I'm going to regret this decision. But I don't think I'm wrong here. My mom deserves to be at her grandson's first birthday party just as much as anyone else. If Maria and her family can't accept that, then maybe we need to have a serious conversation about our future together. Am I the asshole for standing up for my mom? Update 1: The birthday party was yesterday, and everything turned into a complete disaster. I want to share exactly what happened because I'm still trying to process all of it. I picked up my mom early in the morning. She was wearing the new dress she had bought, a simple navy blue dress that she was so proud of. She had even gone to her friend who works at a salon to get her hair done, something she's never done before. She also had a small gift-wrapped package that I later found out contained a hand-knitted sweater she had been working on for months during her breaks at the diner, along with a small silver cross that was her mother's, the only family heirloom she had. When we arrived at the country club, I could see Maria's face turn red with anger from across the parking lot. She rushed over and tried to stop us at the entrance, telling my mom that there must have been some misunderstanding and that we were having a family-only celebration. I stepped in immediately and told Maria that my mom is family, and we walked past her into the venue. The party setup was extravagant. There were ice sculptures, a massive 3-tiered cake, and even a small orchestra playing classical music. My mom looked overwhelmed but tried her best to blend in. She found a quiet corner table and sat there, occasionally playing with Troy when I would bring him over. She kept smiling despite the obvious cold shoulders she was getting from Maria's family. Everything was actually going okay for the first hour. My mom kept to herself, only speaking when spoken to, and mostly just watched Troy from afar while Maria paraded him around to all her important guests. But then something happened that seemed to trigger everything. Maria's CEO, Mr. Thompson, came to our table to wish Troy. My mom, trying to be polite, stood up and greeted him. In her broken English, she asked him about his family and mentioned how proud she was of her grandson. To everyone's surprise, Mr. Thompson pulled up a chair and sat down. It turned out his own parents were immigrants who had worked service jobs, and he spent almost 15 minutes chatting with my mom about their similar backgrounds. He even showed her pictures of his grandkids on his phone. This interaction seemed to push Maria over the edge. After Mr. Thompson left, she stormed over to our table, her face red with rage. She started berating my mom in front of everyone, saying she was trying to embarrass her in front of her boss by playing the poor immigrant card. She accused my mom of purposely trying to ruin her reputation at work by making her look bad in front of her CEO. Her parents quickly joined in. Her father loudly commented about how some people don't know their place and try to infiltrate circles they don't belong in. Her mother started making snide remarks about my mom's dress, saying it looked like it came from a discount store. It did, but that's not the point. They even suggested that my mom was only there to show off her poor English and cheap clothes to make them look bad in front of their high society friends. My mom started crying, trying to explain that she was just being friendly, but they wouldn't let her speak. That's when I lost it. I stood up and told them all to shut up. I announced to everyone present that I was ashamed to be part of such a classist family who would treat another human being this way, let alone their grandson's grandmother. The party basically ended right there. Most guests started leaving quickly, looking uncomfortable with the scene. Before leaving, Mr. Thompson actually came up to me and pulled me aside. He said he was disappointed in Maria's behavior and that if I ever needed anything, I shouldn't hesitate to reach out to him. He gave me his business card and told me my mom reminded him of his own mother. My mom and I left too, but not before I saw Maria's mother trying to usher people toward the cake table, attempting to salvage what was left of the party. I dropped my mom home, and she kept apologizing the whole way, saying she should have known better than to try to talk to important people. It broke my heart to see her blame herself. I'm currently staying at my friend Dave's place. Maria has been calling nonstop, but I've blocked her number for now. Her family members have been posting nasty things about my mom on social media, calling her a gold digger who ruined her grandson's birthday party. Some even suggested she deliberately tried to embarrass them to get revenge for all the times they excluded her. My mom keeps calling me too, crying and apologizing for causing problems in my marriage. I keep telling her it's not her fault, she did nothing wrong. She was just being herself, kind and friendly, and they couldn't handle that because it didn't fit their stuck-up worldview. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I know I can't go back home right now. Seeing how they treated my mom, the woman who sacrificed everything for me, made me realize that maybe this marriage was a mistake from the start. We clearly have very different values, and I'm not sure this is something we can come back from. Update 2: Things have gotten much worse since my last update, and I need to share what happened yesterday because it completely changed everything. I've been staying at my friend Dave's place for the past 2 weeks, trying to figure out what to do next. I've been going to work and trying to maintain some normalcy in my life, though it's been hard not seeing Troy every day. Yesterday started like any other day. I was at my office, buried in spreadsheets, when Maria suddenly showed up around 2 p.m. with Troy in a stroller. At first, I thought maybe she had come to talk things through, but I couldn't have been more wrong. She walked straight to my desk, ignoring my coworkers, and started talking in that cold, calculated voice she uses when she's really angry. She told me she'd been thinking a lot over the past 2 weeks, and she had come to give me an ultimatum. Right there, in front of my entire office, she said I had to choose between her and my mom. She said she couldn't continue being married to someone who would let their low-class mother embarrass her in front of her colleagues and social circle. Then she dropped the bomb: if I chose my mom, she would file for divorce and make sure I never got custody of Troy. She went on to say that she can't have our son growing up around someone like my mom who would teach him to be common and unrefined. She said she didn't want Troy learning broken English or thinking it's okay to work in diners or clean offices for a living. She even had the audacity to say that my mom's influence might damage Troy's future social prospects. The entire office had gone quiet by this point, everyone pretending to work but obviously listening. I could see my supervisor watching from his office, looking concerned. But something in me had snapped. After 2 weeks of thinking about how they had treated my mom at the party, how they'd been treating her for years, and now this threat, it actually made my decision easier. I looked at Maria and told her I'd choose my mom, the woman who sacrificed everything to give me a better life, over someone who judges people based on their bank balance and accent. I told her I'd rather have my son learn kindness and hard work from my mom than learn to be a classist snob from her family. Maria didn't expect this response. She started crying and screaming, saying I was choosing my uneducated, minimum wage mother over my own son. She tried to grab Troy's stroller and leave, but by this point, my supervisor had come out and stopped her, saying she needed to calm down or he would call security. After she left, my supervisor called me into his office. To my surprise, he was incredibly supportive. He shared that his own wife came from a wealthy family that had initially looked down on him, so he understood what I was going through. He gave me the rest of the day off and recommended a good divorce lawyer who had helped his brother through a tough custody battle. I went straight to the lawyer's office. He says Maria's behavior and threats might actually work in my favor during custody hearings. Her classist attitudes and the scene she created at my office could be used to show that she's not acting in Troy's best interest. I've started gathering evidence, screenshots of her family's social media posts mocking my mom, recordings of some previous arguments where she made classist remarks, and several of my coworkers have offered to testify about what happened in the office. My mom is heartbroken about Troy. She keeps saying she should just stay away so I can have my family back. But I won't let Maria and her family win like this. No child should grow up learning to look down on others based on their background or education. I want Troy to be proud of his grandmother, to know the value of hard work, and to understand that a person's worth isn't measured by their bank balance or the way they speak. The lawyer says we'll file first thing Monday morning. He's optimistic about getting shared custody, especially given Maria's behavior and the evidence we have. I know the road ahead won't be easy, but I finally feel like I'm doing the right thing. Sometimes it takes a moment like this to realize what really matters in life. Update 3: A lot has happened in the past 3 months, and I wanted to give everyone a final update. The divorce proceedings are well underway, and things have worked out better than I expected, though it hasn't been an easy journey. Maria's threat about custody completely backfired. During our first court appearance, our lawyer presented all the evidence of her discriminatory behavior, the social media posts from her family, the recordings of her classist remarks, and statements from my coworkers about her office outburst. The judge, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s, wasn't impressed at all. She especially didn't like how Maria had tried to use Troy as leverage to make me cut contact with my mom. We've been granted shared custody, with me getting Troy every weekend and 3 days during the week. Maria tried to argue that my mom's apartment wasn't a suitable environment for Troy during my custody time, but our lawyer pointed out that her objection was based purely on classist prejudice rather than any actual safety concerns. I've moved into a small but nice 2-bedroom apartment near my mom's place. The rent is a bit steep, but I can manage it because of my new job. That's another unexpected positive change. Mr. Thompson, Maria's CEO who chatted with my mom at the party, turned out to be a really decent person. After Maria's family tried to pressure my old firm into firing me, he reached out through LinkedIn and helped me get a better position at another company. The pay is significantly better, and the work environment is much more inclusive. Troy is doing great with the new arrangement. He spends a lot of time with my mom now, especially during my custody days. She teaches him little songs in her native language, and it's beautiful to watch them together. She makes him the same chicken soup she used to make for me when I was sick, and he absolutely loves it. Last week, he said his first word, Nana, while reaching for my mom. Maria was furious when she found out, but there's nothing she can do about it. Maria and her family still try to create problems during custody exchanges. They make snide comments about my downgrade in living situation and how Troy comes back saying words in my mom's native language. I document everything meticulously for our lawyer, just in case. Maria's mother even tried to bribe my mom to disappear from Troy's life. She offered her $50,000 to move to another state. My mom just laughed and told her that her grandson's love was worth more than any amount of money. Sometimes, especially during sleepless nights, I wonder if I could have handled things differently. But then I remember how they treated my mom all these years, how they tried to make her feel ashamed of who she is, and I know I made the right choice. The divorce will be finalized in 2 months, and I'm looking forward to raising my son to respect everyone, regardless of their background or education. Last Sunday, I watched my mom teaching Troy how to make dumplings, the same recipe her mother taught her. His little hands were covered in flour, and he was giggling as she showed him how to fold the wrappers. In that moment, seeing them together, all the drama and pain of the past few months seemed worth it. My son will grow up knowing his grandmother's love, learning her stories, and understanding that true worth isn't measured by money or status, but by the love we give and the kindness we show to others. And really, that's all that matters.